October 2013. A 39-year-old furniture salesman named Derek Amato hits his head diving into a pool. When he wakes up in the hospital, he sits down at a piano for the first time in his life and plays like a virtuoso. No lessons, no practice, just instant mastery. This isn't fiction. Derek Amato is one of approximately 50 documented cases worldwide of acquired savant syndrome. Ordinary people who suffer brain trauma and suddenly possess extraordinary abilities they never learned. Episode 4 of the Fourth Signal Files features 11 people who suddenly manifest abilities they shouldn't have. Mathematical genius, synesthetic perception, linguistic mastery. It sounds like science fiction, but spontaneous ability manifestation? That's happening right now, in documented medical cases that neuroscience can't fully explain. This is the Fourth Signal Files Debriefing. I'm Leah Merswell, and today we're exploring the real science behind sudden genius, why some would resist human enhancement, and whether we're closer to this scenario than we think. Quick warning. Major spoilers for episode 4 ahead. If you haven't listened to Global Resonance yet, go experience the Spiral Choir's Awakening first. Episode 4 is speculative fiction built on real neuroscience. Acquired savant syndrome, neuroplasticity, and documented cases of spontaneous ability acquisition. Some of it is pure storytelling. Some of it is happening in laboratories right now. Let's separate fact from fiction. In episode 4, Dr. Chen Wei suddenly sees mathematics as living structures. Elena Kovac hears colors and sees sounds. These abilities are based on real neurological phenomena that transform ordinary people overnight. Derek Amato, documented by Dr. Daryl Treffert, the world's leading savant expert. MRI scans show Derek's brain rewired itself after his concussion. Areas that normally don't communicate started forming new connections. He didn't learn piano. His brain suddenly knew piano. Jason Paget was mugged in 2002, skull fracture. When he recovered, he started seeing the world as geometric patterns, fractals, mathematical equations, quantum physics diagrams. He's now a published physicist who never finished college. His brain injury activated mathematical visualization that neuroscientists describe as seeing the mathematical structure of reality directly. A Croatian teenager woke from a coma speaking fluent German, a language she'd never studied. She couldn't speak Croatian anymore, only German. A British man suffered a migraine and started speaking fluent Welsh. Brain scans show actual changes in language processing centers. Dr. Alan Snyder at the University of Sydney suggests savant abilities might already exist in everyone's brain. Dormant, suppressed by normal cognitive filtering. When injury disrupts those filters, you can suddenly access computational abilities your brain always had but kept offline. Think about this. Every human brain might contain abilities we never use. Perfect pitch, photographic memory, mathematical genius, synesthetic perception. We're not lacking these abilities. We're actively suppressing them because they'd overwhelm normal consciousness. Researchers have induced temporary savant-like abilities using transcranial magnetic stimulation. Test subjects who couldn't draw suddenly create photorealistic artwork. People who struggled with math solve complex equations. When the stimulation stops, the abilities vanish. But they were there, accessible, waiting. Here's what's uncomfortable. These abilities come with trade-offs. Derek Amato can't turn off the music in his head. Jason Paget developed severe OCD. Seeing fractal patterns everywhere made normal life impossible for years. It's like their brains are processing too much information. Episode 4 treats this as genetic activation from alien DNA. In reality, human brains already contain these capabilities, locked behind neurological gates. The question isn't whether we can unlock extraordinary abilities. It's whether we should. And what happens when we do. Episode 4 features 3 children in the spiral choir. Why would children be ideal for cognitive enhancement? Neuroscience tells us their brains are fundamentally different from adult brains. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. Children's brains are dramatically more plastic. The child who loses an entire brain hemisphere can have the remaining hemisphere take over both functions. Adults? Impossible. Documented case. 6-year-old Cameron had half her brain surgically removed to stop seizures. Today, she functions normally. The remaining hemisphere reorganized completely. Her neurologist calls it the most remarkable example of brain plasticity ever documented. Children acquire languages effortlessly, while adults struggle. After puberty, neural pruning reduces flexibility. Children's brains actively seek patterns to incorporate. Adult brains optimize existing patterns. Then there are unexplained prodigies. Mozart composing at 5. Akiane Kramaric painting photorealistic masterpieces at 8. Kim Ung-yong with verified IQ of 210 by age 3, speaking 4 languages and solving calculus before kindergarten. Neuroscience struggles to explain these cases. Many savants and prodigies show autistic traits, intense focus, pattern recognition. Dr. Temple Grandin describes thinking in pictures rather than words, visualizing complex systems directly. This is what Amara does in episode 4, perceiving patterns others experience as abstract. Here's what makes episode 4's children fascinating. Starting enhancement with children would be most effective, but most ethically troubling. You could reshape young brains with minimal resistance, but you'd be making irreversible choices for someone who can't consent. We're already doing this, just gradually. Gifted programs, specialized training. We're selectively developing children's abilities right now. The only difference from the 4th signal scenario is speed and source. The Heritage Directive opposes the 4th signal, believing humanity should accept alien guidance rather than risk independent evolution. It sounds villainous, but if sudden human enhancement became possible tomorrow, significant populations would absolutely resist, and their concerns wouldn't all be irrational. Many religious traditions see human enhancement as violating divine design. These aren't fringe views. Major denominations have issued statements opposing genetic enhancement, arguing it crosses ethical lines. Bioconservatives like Francis Fukuyama argue enhancement threatens human nature itself. If we upgrade cognition, emotions, abilities, at what point do we stop being human? These are legitimate questions without obvious answers. Enhancement technology would initially be expensive, creating a cognitive divide between those who can afford upgrades and those who can't. You'd create a two-tier society, the enhanced and the natural. History shows whenever humans create in-groups and out-groups based on biological differences, atrocities follow. Who decides what enhanced means? If governments or corporations control enhancement technology, they control human evolution. Maybe guided evolution under supervision is safer than humans stumbling forward independently. Every major technological advancement has produced unexpected negative consequences. Nuclear power gave us Chernobyl. Social media gave us disinformation epidemics. If we enhance human cognition without fully understanding the systems we're altering, what catastrophic side effects might emerge? Some philosophers argue struggle, limitation, and mortality are essential to human meaning. If we enhance away all suffering, all challenges, do we lose what makes life meaningful? Perhaps being human means accepting our limitations. The Heritage Directive's argument isn't absurd. Maybe independence isn't worth the risk. Maybe accepting guidance from advanced civilizations would prevent catastrophes we can't foresee. That's a genuine ethical debate, not simple good versus evil. The spiral choir maintains individual identities while sharing consciousness. Research into collective intelligence suggests something similar might be achievable. MIT's Center for Collective Intelligence shows groups can solve problems no individual member could solve alone. Not through division of labor, but through genuine emergent intelligence. The whole exceeds the sum of parts. Dr. Uri Hassan at Princeton discovered that during effective communication, brain activity synchronizes between people. Using fMRI, he showed speakers' brain patterns appearing in listeners' brains. Successful communication creates temporary neural coupling. Brain-computer interfaces are advancing. Researchers have linked multiple human brains to create brain nets, people collaborating by sharing neural signals directly. It's primitive now, but demonstrates technological mediation of collective consciousness isn't science fiction. It's emerging neurotechnology. Episode 4's genius is presenting collective consciousness that preserves individual identity. Current research confirms groups can share information and coordinate without individual dissolution. You can be both yourself and part of something larger. So where does this leave us? Acquired savant syndrome proves sudden genius is real. Neuroplasticity shows brains can be radically rewired. Collective intelligence research reveals genuine group consciousness. And resistance to enhancement is based on legitimate ethical concerns. Does that prove 11 people could be genetically activated by alien DNA? Not really. But this fiction is built on documented human capabilities and questions we're actually facing. Because here's what's not fiction. We're approaching a moment when human enhancement becomes possible. Through CRISPR gene editing, brain-computer interfaces, nootropic compounds, transcranial stimulation. The spiral choir scenario is coming, just with human technology instead of alien signals. And we'll face exactly Episode 4's questions. Who decides who gets enhanced? What happens to those left behind? Will enhancement be voluntary or mandatory? How do we maintain unity when some become cognitively superhuman? The fourth signal's answer is we can be both individual and collective, enhanced and still human. That's optimistic. But it requires conscious choice, ethical frameworks, and willingness to navigate unprecedented challenges. If you carry genetic markers for extraordinary abilities, and statistically some of you do, would you want them activated? If your children could be enhanced beyond normal limits, would you choose that? If humanity splits between enhanced and natural, which side would you join? These aren't hypothetical questions anymore. They're approaching rapidly. No aliens will make these choices for us. We'll have to make them ourselves. The frequency is already changing us. The question is whether we're choosing the direction consciously or stumbling forward blindly. This has been the Fourth Signal Files, the debrief. Until next time, Resonance, remember that the most profound changes begin not in alien signals, but in human choices. And those choices are happening now. Choose wisely.
Shadows twist where the starlight fades. A voice in the void, a hymn it plays. Whispers ripple through time, they stray. No ground, no sky, just endless gray. Echoes in the abyss, they call my name. Faint and haunting, never the same. A clear soft hum, it draws me near. Resonance rising, drowning fear. Floating weightless, the pulse grows loud. A phantom wind through the cosmic shroud. Symbols glowing, their meaning veiled. A map to nowhere, a story derailed. The void it sings, a melody torn. A song of endings where stars are born. Echoes in the abyss, they call my name. Faint and haunting, never the same. A clear soft hum, it draws me near. Resonance rising, drowning fear. Resonance rising, drowning fear. Falling upward, the silence breaks. A spiral of sound, a path it makes. Time collapses, the echoes bend. A loop eternal, no start, no end. no end.